Hello everybody, Intuition here. Thank you as always for making time and space for us. We would like to address the term, everything that you need is right here. And we would like to add a little bit of depth to that statement. Because when you just hear it in the cliche, pseudo-spiritual psychobabble that most people use that in, you don't really understand why that is actually true. You just get a vague sense of this, well, everything that I need is right here, meaning that it is here within myself. And while that may be true, there is more of a deeper meaning as to why it is true. Because yes, everything that you need is within yourself, but also more literally, everything that you need is in that space. Any space in which you find yourself in, a room, a car, a parking lot, an airport. That space, that literal location, has an infinite set of possibilities and probabilities that can happen in that space. But that space, again, is going to influence those possibilities and probabilities. And again, endless possibilities. But those possibilities are specific to the space in which you find yourself in, which would mean that the space that you're in has to have everything that is needed in order for that possibility or probability to unfold, which means that everything that you need is right here, literally here in the space that you're in. Because if it wasn't, the possibility or the circumstance in which you are living within that space that you are in wouldn't be happening. So why that's important to understand is because many individuals get caught in this idea of, am I going to rise to the occasion? Am I going to be able to do what's necessary in order to meet this expectation? Am I enough? Is what I'm going to do enough? And when you understand that in any given space that you're occupying, you're going to have all the resources necessary to be able to address the circumstance that you're met with. You will always be enough. You will always be able to rise to the occasion. And you will always be able to address it appropriately, regardless of the circumstance, because the space wouldn't be able to contain that possibility if that wasn't the reality, in the sense of everything that you need is right here, literally in the space. You have all the resources already right here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be living that reality in which that possibility is unfolding. It simply could not exist. Which means that it doesn't matter what your doubts are about yourself or the circumstance that's unfolding. Because as soon as you're able to get out of those doubts and be present in the space, you will find the resources and supports necessary in order to address the situation. It is only when I'm getting lost in my own thought forms and my own self-doubts that I won't be able to actually address the situation. Because I can always address the situation as long as I am present in the room. Present in the room, meaning I am looking around and I am seeing all that the room has. And when I know all that exists within the room, I am able to draw from what is already there in that room to be able to adequately address the situation that is unfolding before me. The only time that I cannot do that is when I am lost in another room that is my thoughts, which is not present here. It is present in here. And since this is an external situation in which we're talking about, to be present in here isn't going to help you when you need to be present here. Which means that you need to listen, not with what is going on internally, but listen with what is going on externally. And when we mean listen, we don't mean with your ears, though that is helpful. Listen with your ears, with your eyes, with your heart, with what it is that is unfolding within the situation. Because if you were just listening with your ears, you're going to miss most of the supports that are already available within the room with you. So, using all of your sensory organs to listen to what it is that's unfolding, literally, figuratively, energetically, spiritually, physiologically, listening. And you can't just do that with your ears. And that is what it means to be present. To use all of those sensory organs and show up and listen to the environment and what is happening and unfolding within it. Again, not listening to in here, but listening to out here, using those organs that are in here, out there. And as long as I'm showing up and I'm present by listening, by using all of my resources internally, so that I could be aware of the resources that exist externally, I will always rise to the occasion and be able to address the situation, because again, the space would not be able to hold that possibility if the solution to whatever the circumstance or situation is wasn't already in the room. Which means you will always be able to address every situation, period. Because the answer is already right there in front of your face. But you won't see it if you are not present, or you are present in the wrong space, meaning you are present here, in here, and not out there. So, take advantage of the space that you are in, because it has everything you need. Literally. Not in that psycho-spiritual babble that people say. Not figurative, literally. All of what it is that you need is right here. So take advantage of it. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to know anything beyond what it is that you're already in awareness of, because the space contains the information. But if you are not in touch with that space, you're not going to be able to address it in the most appropriate way. And so, as always, this is just a little food for thought that might be helpful for you whenever you're moving into a space, whenever you're moving into self-doubt or worrying about a situation, knowing that that space inherently has all the supports necessary in order for you to float out of there unscathed. But not if you're not focusing on the space. And so we wish you well, finding all the answers that are already right in front of your face. Just takes a little presence and listening with more than just your ears, and you'll have all the answers necessary to get to the next space that also has all the answers right there. Well wishes, and as always, thank you for making time and space for us.